most important industrial use of water is in steam generation in boilers. So, the major disadvantage which we encounter when we use hard water in boilers is the formation of scale and sludge. Now, what is sludge and scale? Now, when hard water is boiled continuously in boilers, then evaporated water forms steam which increases the concentration of the dissolved salts. Now, the water is evaporating continuously. Now, the concentration of the dissolved salts, when it increases and reaches a saturation point, then these salts, they are thrown out in the form of precipitates. Now, if these precipitates, they form loose and slimy layer, then it is called sludge, and on the other hand, if the precipitate forms a hard and adhering crust, it is known as scale. Now, disadvantages of scale formation. The main disadvantage is this scale is a poor conductor of heat. Both of them, that sludge as well as the scale, they are poor conductors of heat, and the scale formation causes choking of pipes because it is deposited on the inner surface, resulting in lower aperture as such, which results in choking of pipes. Even overheating of the boiler is also there because it is poor conductor of heat. In order to get the continuous supply of steam, we have to heat further, which results in overheating, and as such the boiler may burst even. Further, due to the scale formation or the sludge formation, there is non-uniform heating, because at points where there is large amount of sludge or scale deposited over there, the boiler will not reach to the point temperature to which it is heated at that point, but when the scale is say crack appears in the scale, then the water comes directly onto the overheated, which results in large amount of steam production at that point, and it may cause the boiler to burst. Now, how can we prevent sludge and scale formation? Sludge formation can be prevented by using soft water and further by blow down operation. Now, what is this blow down operation? This is a partial removal of concentrated water, means the water which has already dissolved salts from which is a saturated solution, you can say, of the various salts. Now, that is removed partially and fresh water is fed into it, fed into the boiler. It will prevent sludge formation to some extent. Now, the scale formation can be prevented by brushing the inside of the boiler, by washing the boiler water under pressure, by adding oily substances. Now, what these oily substances do, for example, oil or tannin, they form a sticky layer onto the particles of the sludge and does not help its deposition. So, the sludge does not get deposited or adhere to the surface of the boiler. Or we can also prevent scale formation by placing a sealed glass tube which contains mercury with some inert gas in it. It also helps in preventing scale formation. Now, another you can say disadvantage of using hard water in boiler is the boiler corrosion. Now, boiler corrosion is the decay of the boiler material by chemical or electrochemical attack of its environment. Now, what are the different causes? The major cause of boiler corrosion is the dissolved oxygen or dissolved carbon dioxide in water. Now, the carbon dioxide can be in the dissolved form in water already present or can be formed by the decomposition of calcium bicarbonates present in hard water. Now, this carbon dioxide forms carbonic acid which attacks the boiler material. Now, even when the hardness causing substance in hard water is magnesium chloride, then it results in the formation of hydrochloric acid which can cause boiler corrosion. Now, how HCl causes boiler corrosion is that it slowly attacks the inner surface of the boiler, and on attacking it results in the formation of rust as represented by these chemical equations. Iron reacts with HCl to give you iron chloride and hydrogen gas. Now, this iron chloride water reacts to form hydroxide of iron. Further, HCl is released in this process. Then iron hydroxide reacts with oxygen and water present in the rated water to form rust. Now, what are the various disadvantages of corrosion? We all know that it shortens the life of the boiler. Due to the corrosion, the rivets and the joints, they begin to leak, and as such the repair and maintenance, cost of repair and maintenance is also increased. Now, how can we prevent Now, how can we prevent corrosion is either by adding alkalis, for example, sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, etc., to the feed water. Now, what these alkalis do, they neutralize the various acids which are present in water, or by aeration. Now, this aeration generally removes the dissolved oxygen. By removing dissolved oxygen, now, this dissolved oxygen can also be removed by adding calculated amounts of sodium sulphide or hydrazine. Then another disadvantage of using hard water in boilers is priming and foaming. Now, what these processes are? Now, when large amount of bubbles are formed on the surface of water in the steam space above water, then it is called foaming. Now, as the number of bubbles or the amount of the bubbles increases, then some of the bubbles, they enter the engine along with the steam, and as such decrease the efficiency. Now, when only the bubbles are present onto the surface, they are not leading to the engine, then it is known as foaming. And on the other hand, when the bubbles enter the engine along with the steam, then it is termed as priming. Now, what happens, what are the various causes of priming and foaming? The main cause is the suspended particles which are present in the feed water. They help in the formation of bubbles. Another cause is the presence of soluble impurities like alkalis and oily matter. These also increase the foaming capacity of water. Soluble salts, they increase the surface tension of water. Now, as such, by this large amount of bubbles are formed, or the increased surface tension of water helps in the formation of foam. Now, what are the disadvantages of priming and foaming? The main disadvantages is that we cannot maintain constant pressure of steam, and due to the formation of bubbles, the boiling point of water is also increased due to the presence of soluble impurities in water. Another disadvantage of priming and foaming is due to the presence of large amount of bubbles, the exact height of water cannot be recorded. And as such, when the bubbles enter into the engine along with the steam, they lower the efficiency of engine and soils the engine parts. All this leads to increase in the cost of repair and maintenance. Now, how can we prevent priming and foaming? Now, alkalis and oily matter, that should be removed from feed water. Another way is that the suspended matter should be removed from feed water. There should not be any suspended matter into the feed water. Sludge and scale formation, that has to be prevented. They have to be removed from time to time, because when the sludge or the broken parts of the scales, they are present in boiler water, they increase the formation of bubbles and as such cause the problem of priming and foaming. And another way of preventing priming and foaming is that the boiler water should be changed from time to time. Now, another disadvantage of using hard water in boilers is the caustic embrittlement. Caustic embrittlement is that when the boiler material becomes brittle due to the presence of caustic substances in the feed water. And the major reason for this caustic embrittlement is the use of highly alkaline water in high pressure boilers. Now, this alkalis may be present by the using of sodium carbonate during softening by lime soda process. When we soften water using lime soda process, then the sodium hydroxide which is released, that is mainly responsible for caustic embrittlement. Now, what happens on due to this caustic embrittlement is that the boiler material becomes brittle. As such, the rivets and joints become loose and result in leakage, and cost of repair and maintenance, that is increased. Now, prevention of caustic embrittlement is by the removal of the causes of caustic embrittlement, means the excess amount of alkali carbonates in the feed water should be avoided, and salts like sodium nitrate, that should be added to feed water in order to neutralize alkalinity. Once the alkalinity is removed, then caustic embrittlement can be prevented. Now, this is all about we can say water and its hardness. Now, to recapitulate, we can say that water which should be used in industries as well as in domestic purposes, that should be soft water, and if in case it is not available, then we have to treat it chemically or by some other means to make it fit to use in various industries. Thank you.